Hi, welcome to my channel, Danette Gets Creative. I'm Danette. Here I am with another little project. I don't know about any of you, but I'm always carrying around glasses on my head, in my purse, in my project bag, wherever. I thought I would make a little case for them today. So I've just found some random scraps around the house. I don't even know what this is, fleece, I guess. And you can see I'm just doing a rough measurement of my glasses, nothing fancy. I'm going to curve this corner just because I wanted to make it look a little bit more decorative than just a square case. I have these cute little samples of blue and I stitched them all together. And I just brought them with me on this trip because you could always use material, right? Anyway, I pulled out these blues and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay down some fabrics, collage down some of these blue fabrics to cover the fleece. So just like any other project, choose the colors you like, lay them down. Like Rachel always says, audition them. So you'll see that I place them in different places and I do finally settle on a pattern or a collage that I like. So just keep continuing here to watch me lay down these fabrics. Hope you're all doing well. It is really hot where I am. I'm home in Nova Scotia, and the humidity is crazy today. I thought I'd go outside and dig in the garden, but as soon as I stepped outside, wow, it was hot. So, not like I needed an excuse to sit down and stitch, but the humidity helped make that decision today. I love this blue daisy pattern. It's so pretty. These colors are just so clean and fresh looking. And blue happens to be one of my all-time favorite colors. So of course I was going to lean towards picking up some blues. Hope this audio goes okay. Normally I use a mic when I do voiceovers. But I don't have that since I'm not home. And there's a little bit of background noise, so hopefully that is not distracting as well. So one final piece up there in the corner. And then I will start stitching it down. I'll just do running stitch to hold it into place. This little bow pattern is very cute too. Look at that. So cute. Anyway, there we go. There's a collage. And then I'm just going to start my running stitch after I pin everything in place. So what's everybody working on? I know lots of people are preparing for Rachel and Sarah's new prompt. I unfortunately have lost touch with that stuff just because I've been so busy with life. But yeah, it sounds cool. The little birdies are really chirping in the background. I don't know if you can hear them or not. They don't seem to mind the heat and humidity. Anyway, there we go. I trimmed around the corner so that I maintained that circle edge. And then I'm just going to grab regular sewing machine thread. And I am just going to do the running stitch. I end up doing running stitch one way and then the other way. I just like the texture of the running stitch when you do it both ways. A little extra work, but the end product is very nice. So yeah, I'm going to running stitch it all, and you can see that I went one way and then I went the other way. This is a piece of old, actually what was it? Tablecloth maybe? Pillowcase? I don't remember. It had some embroidery on it and I cut the embroidery out and then I just saved the material and then I just coffee stained it this morning because I just felt it was too white. I have another project that I'm getting ready to start and I didn't want the really, really white, so I threw it in some coffee this morning. So I'm just going to use it as a backing fabric. Not that you'll see the back very much because that's like the inside where the glasses will be, But because I've cut that rounded corner, you will see a little bit of the edge, so I took the time to cover it. And then I'm thinking through the process. I'm like, do I just close it and when I do the edges it'll all be down nice? Of course not. But you can see I pin it or I clip it and think, oh, that'll work. But then I discover that it's not going to work. It's going to be too loosey and it's going to be all bunched up. So then I'm like, okay, I need to do some more running stitch. And I'm like, do I really want to do running stitch this again? The answer is no. I don't really want to do running stitch this again. So I start and I'm like, no, that's just silly. So then I stop and you get to see all my process here. Then I stop and all I end up doing is just a running stitch all around the outside of the project, just holding the backing to the front. I just didn't want the two slipping and I just wanted it lined up. And doing more running stitch was really not what I wanted to do today. So now it's all stitched down. I'm just going to clip it together so you can see here and so I can see what it's going to look like. And then just like those blue fabrics I showed you a minute ago, I have a bunch of gray with me too. And they're only 8 inches square, maybe not even, maybe 7. Doesn't matter. What I did was I ripped them into 1.5 inch strips, and now I'm just sewing a couple of them together so I can create my binding. So I took my 7-inch strips and turned it into a 14-inch strip. And I'm just going to use this to create my binding. So I just do a little finger press here on the seams, and I try to do a little finger press here just to fold it in half. The table space I'm working on is super tiny today, so I'm finding things a little awkward. But I'm home at my dad's house, and there's some construction underway, and I have to find different spaces during the day to be out of the way of the construction, so I'm just using a little tiny TV tray to do this. So what I'm showing you is that I'm going to use this gray to do the binding, and I actually start doing the first rounded part and the back part and down half, because what I'm doing is, because it's open at the top, I'm going to do that part first. So around the front, and then I will pin it inside as well, and I'm just going to do a slip stitch all the way around to hold that intact. And I'm doing the top half first because it's the opening, and then you'll see I stop the halfway mark and I start again and finish the bottom half of the glass case because it's closed. So the top and the bottom are a little bit of a different process. That might seem very confusing, but you'll understand here in a minute. So finish up the top, kind of diagonal the corner there. Trying to diagonal the corner. Trying not to poke myself. So then you'll see I go down and I meet up at the same length as where I started. So the top is all done. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and use the same binding. And now I'm going to keep both pieces together because the bottom needs to stay shut. And I'm just going to put the binding on both pieces to do that last little bit. So same process, put it in place, pin it, whip stitch my way around. And that way, by doing this, it holds the two pieces together at the bottom, or at the top I needed to create the opening. So just doing that little triangle corner again, doing the front first, and then I'll pin the back. Trim it off here at the end. I fold it under, and I will slip stitch that as well, the front piece to the back piece. I really like this gray. It's so cute, the little polka dots. So now I'm just going to pin the back, and then I'll stitch the whole thing corner's a little messy there, but just for the sake of the video, I didn't want to fuss with it too much, but I do end up fixing it. Okay, so slip stitch it, and here it is. I wanted to add a little bit of a decorative element to it, so I had a little bit of this binding material left. Tied it in a knot, and I'm just going to put it on there just to make a dangle. I tried to pin through it. I said forget it, it's too thick. So I'm just going to stitch it on. Fussing with it a little bit to get it to lie flat. Anyway, I stitch it on here just to give it a little decorative element to it, just to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. It's a funny word. Anyway, I stitch it down in place just to make the side look a little fancier. Funny. Anyway, a couple little stitches here, and then you'll see that let's finish this off here. I take the two ends and I tie little knots in the bottom of both ends just to add an extra little detail. So just make a little knot. Take it off camera here to give it a little tug so I don't knock the camera off the table. Another little tug. And there it is. So if you continue watching till the very end, there's a couple of close-up photos showing you the final product. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all. Have a great day. Happy crafting.